Welcome to the Amy Gregory Show, the show where real estate gets a reality check and success doesn't require burnout. I'm Amy, your straight shooting, pep talk in your pocket host who took the real estate world by storm with zero cold calls, no door knocking, and a firm no thanks to working 50-hour weeks. 8 years ago, I jumped into real estate with both feet, 3 kids, and a baby on the way. In my rookie year, I broke every rule in the book, earning 6 figures working just 10 hours a week. The industry was shocked. I wasn't. Now, I lead a powerhouse team of over 500 female solo agents nationwide, host retreats, create online courses, and sit proudly in the top 10 of my brokerage with over 85,000 agents. My mission? To help women like you scale your business, trust your intuition, and redefine what success looks like on your terms. So if you're ready to play big, ditch the hustle culture, and build a business that fits your life, not the other way around, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Amy Gregory Show, and today I am going to be breaking down exactly how I became one of eXp Realty's top agent recruiters when I was, okay, I'm going to start over. All of a sudden I'm like, I've lost my train of thought, and that's not really how I want to say it. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back to the Amy Gregory Show. I am so excited to be with you today because today I am breaking down the mystery. I get asked this question all the time because I am most definitely an anomaly at my brokerage. I have my license hung at eXp Realty, and fun fact, I rank in the top 5 of over 90,000 agents when it comes to recruiting agents. Now, we got to just put this in context a little bit. If you're new here, hi, my name's Amy. I sell real estate. I still am in transactions. I moved my license over to eXp when I had been, a transactional agent for 2 years, and I was selling $4 or $5 million in real estate every year, which is not some big glamorous number that you're ever going to see on the stage. So you have to understand the context of it, which I was doing that in 10 hours a week with 4 little kids, like a baby, newborn baby status, little kids. So today I'm gonna break it down a little bit. How I went from 0 to 600 agents in 5 years, and not just 600 agents. 600 really productive agents, right? Because we don't want to work with a bunch of agents that don't want to work. We want to work with agents that are closing deals. Full disclosure, when I decided to build a national organization with eXp Realty, I had no idea if I was running headfirst into a victory lap or we tried moment. I had no idea. I was busy with 4 young kids and was juggling growing transactions. The only 2 things I knew for certain was that I couldn't sustain transaction growth forever. I knew there was a ceiling on how many transactions I could close. And I knew I was going to use Instagram to grow my national organization. I just wasn't sure how. Don't get me wrong. I love transactions, but have you tried closing north of 10 million while homeschooling 4 kids in the middle of a pandemic? It was brutal. My phone was ringing and dinging from breakfast to dinner, and every 30 days, I'd be fired and need to find a new seller to hire me over and over again. Sound familiar? Yeah, I liked the paychecks. No, I did not like the constant ring and ding of my phone. And do not even get me started on the deals that would be perfectly perfect until you left town. You know the best way to blow up a perfect transaction that has 0 problems? Go out of town. It is like clockwork. Way too many vacations were ruined that it had me thinking there has got to be a better way to scale my skill set. My skill set, by the way, is Instagram. Yeah, go ahead. Roll your eyes. I'm an influencer. If you vomited in your mouth a little bit, then we'd likely be best friends. I spent years trying to disassociate myself with the term influencers until I helped over 100 moms hit 100K in their transaction businesses. I'm not going to lie, that felt pretty dang good. So yeah, I'm an influencer. I influence agents to work smarter, not harder. I influence agents to think outside their local market. And today, I hope to influence you to think a little bigger than your next deal. I'm going to guess you're an amazing transactional agent, an agent with systems, tools, and know-how that gets the job done. I'm also going to guess you're downright tired of the golden handcuffs that transactions have on you. Here's the good news. There is a better way. What if you could create a residual revenue stream by helping agents get where you are faster and with less headache? What if you could grow a national organization in just an hour a day? What if you could create a community of agents that were willing to collaborate instead of compete? What if that collaboration could in turn increase your own transaction business? What if you only did the transactions you loved because you were no longer handcuffed to the nitty-gritty? I have personally sponsored over 100 agents to eXp Realty, securing me a spot in the top 5 of the entire company of almost 90,000 agents. Here's the best part. I did it from my kitchen table in part-time hours, without a cold call, and with a baby on my hip. I'm not going to lie. After so many told me it was impossible, I am pretty dang proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for thinking my own thoughts, believing my own ideas, and betting on myself. It's an insanely fun accomplishment to hit, mostly because it changed my life. If a deal didn't fit, I now had the flexibility to refer it out or just say, no thanks. No tightness in my chest, wondering where my next deal is coming from because my residual arm covers all of my living expenses. The most wild thing is now transactions are popping more than ever. Something about that little skip of confidence in your step really changes the game. If you're looking to change the game, today, I'm going to teach you how because it's all about simple systems repeated over time. I know everyone wants to sell you some insanely complicated system full of VAs. Let's be real. You're as likely to implement that system as you are to count your calories. Yeah, I'm not doing that either. You know what happens when you overcomplicate things, right? You use it as an excuse to just not do the thing at all. So let's be clear. Simple works. Simple is sustainable. Simple outpaces complicated all day long. And I'm proof. I've outpaced every complicated system out there, and I'm just getting started. Even better, I've rinsed and repeated my system with other agents, and some are even pacing faster than I was. Because that's the point. Shouldn't the student outpace the leader at some point? Jancy says, never in a million years did I intend to recruit agents, but using Amy's approach, I've been able to organically build an amazing nationwide team of agents. Utilizing her methods, I have agents reaching out to me, not the other way around. Her systems are easy to implement, and once in place, it's foolproof. If you want to attract like-minded agents in a genuine and organic way, this is how you do it. This is actually how all agents scale their businesses. There's a pattern to it, and every successful agent follows this pattern. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Every agent begins with buyers. Buyers are easier to prospect than sellers, so almost every agent works with a buyer first. Then agents who are smart quickly realize that they have a better hourly rate and lifestyle working with sellers, so they shift to become listing heavy. After that, they'll work to increase their price point. All of these things continually increase the agent's hourly rate. This episode is sponsored by StanStore, the simplest way to turn your social media followers into clients. Want to build your database straight from Instagram without the tech headaches? I've got you. Click the link in the show notes to download my website template for realtors, designed to help you capture leads and grow your business with ease. Because your social media should be more than just likes. It should be your lead generating machine. The better you become, the more deals you'll prospect, until you have too many deals to service. Yeah, raise your hand if you've been on that hamster wheel. Me too. So then what happens? You either run yourself straight to burnout or you will look to get into the agent business. Why? Because you need to hire a showing agent or a buyer's agent, something to take the load off of you, and it kind of grows from there. If you give a mouse a cookie, if you're going to hire a showing agent, then you should prospect more deals, then hire another one, then get office space, then start buying leads. It keeps snowballing. And now, whether you want it to be or not, you're in the agent business with a lot of overhead, a lot of liability, and you're still having vacation ruined as deals blow up. How's that tightness in your chest now? Suffocating, right? So what if instead you did it on a national level with a cloud-based brokerage? What if you behaved like a local team leader would, helping agents close more deals, but didn't carry any of the liability? What if you got into the agent business that way? I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Amy, that's great, but I can hardly hire agents in my own backyard. How am I ever going to be able to find agents in other cities? I thought the same thing. Well, not quite. You're probably a more experienced agent than I was when I started recruiting to my national team. Yeah, I said the word. It's so gross, recruiting. But that's what it is. And it's time we all stop acting like it's a bad thing. Listen, I love when Lululemon recruits me to come shopping because that's what good marketing is. Anyways, back to me having no business thinking anyone would want to listen to me. Here's the truth. I'd only been practicing real estate for 2 years when I started recruiting, and I hadn't even broken 10 million in production in a single year. I was by all definitions a very average agent when you put my numbers on paper. The magic of my numbers was that I was doing it alongside my motherhood and part-time hours. Turns out a lot of moms wanted to know how I was doing my transactions. So I started teaching them. Psst, coaching is a great way to get in the agent business without ruining your vacations. After I taught them, then they followed me to my brokerage without me ever making a cold call or sales pitch. Now, don't be silly and convince yourself I did all this by accident. Quite the opposite. I actually had a 5-year plan that I wrote out before I got started. I hit those numbers in less than 18 months by building an agent growth machine. Because that's all it is. It's a machine that takes me about an hour a day to run. A machine that houses a system for agents to schedule calls with me. A machine that houses a system for agents to learn all about my cloud-based brokerage model on autopilot. A machine that houses a system for agents to collaborate, to see insane growth in their business. A machine that actually pays me multiple 6 figures a year to recruit agents. Yeah, you heard that right. Because I know what you're thinking. I have no more time for one more thing. Did you miss the part about me being a mom to 4 young kids? Like, I built this in part-time hours while driving my 4 kids to 4 different schools. If you're a dude and your wife is doing that right now, please bring her home dinner tonight. She needs it. It's no joke. And to be honest, it wasn't all this streamlined when I began. It was kind of a mess. A mess of trial and error, and I was nervous, unsure, and I wondered if this was absolutely ridiculous. It felt about the same way it does when you try to squeeze into your skinny jeans post-baby. Uncomfortable, to say the least. But guess what? That little idea, it worked. Then it grew, and it took me from 0 agents to over 600. And you know what doesn't feel uncomfortable? Agents sliding onto your calendar while you're driving carpool. So before we get started, on breaking down the system, I want to leave you with one last thing. Okay, sorry, I messed up there. Okay. But guess what? That little idea, it worked. Then it grew, and it took me from 0 agents to over 600. And you want to know what doesn't feel uncomfortable? Agents sliding onto your calendar while you're driving carpool. So let's get into it. How do you create a system where agents are scheduling calls with you, asking you, hey, I would love to join your brokerage? How does it get started? So first up, you have to set up the calendar link first. So I have used calendly.com to set this up, and I did this 5 years ago. If I was doing it today, I would do it inside my Stan store, and I would have the scheduling feature there inside my Stan store because does anyone else feel like as agents, sometimes we have death by subscription? We're subscribed to too many subscription services. So that's why I'm telling you, if you haven't done this yet, do it on Stan Store. There's an ability for people to schedule a free call with you, set up that calendar link, and here's how you're going to set up that page. Now, you're not just going to be like, set up this weird calendar link and don't put any context around it, okay? So when you're doing this, you first want to have a long form explainer video, okay? That's actually step 1. You want a long form explainer video, and I filmed mine. I hadn't even pitched eXp to anyone, but I went and I found someone who had a really good eXp long form explained video, and I copied it. and I took all the best pieces of it and I rewrote it and I edited it to make it mine, but I used their framework. And then I scheduled time to go into a production studio. I used a teleprompter to film it. I created slide decks in Canva so that it would be talking over. The video is like 25 minutes and it explains all about eXp Realty. The reason I did this was because I didn't want people scheduling calls on my calendar and then me having to explain all about eXp Realty. That's not an efficient use of your time. So film that video, okay? And if you want to be perceived as the expert, the go-to source on the subject, go pro on producing this long-form video, right? If you're going to create a residual revenue stream that's bringing in $10,000 a month, it's probably reasonable for you to spend, 20 hours of time writing out that script, doing the slide deck, and $2,500 going into a studio with a teleprompter and producing the video, right? The next video you want to create is I call this like a short form, like why you made the switch. And this one you actually want to film on your iPhone turned horizontal. You want it to be in your office and you want it to be no longer than 3 minutes. And it's just a casual like, hey, this is why I made the switch to eXp Realty. You're going to upload both of those videos to YouTube and you're going to leave it on public because you're not going to mind if someone runs into those videos. But then what you're going to do with those videos is when you create your calendar link, the email follow-up series is going to tell those agents that they need to watch those videos before they get on the phone with you. Because you don't want to spend your time on the phone explaining all about your cloud-based brokerage, right? You want them to have already done that. So then when you get on the phone call with them, you are going to ask 4 questions. Number 1, you're going to say, tell me, how did we end up on this phone call? Because you want to know which of your lead generation activities are getting them to book calls with you. Ask them. Mine has always been Instagram. It's, I don't know how I ran into you on Instagram. I just ran into you. You ran into me on Instagram because I create content for you to easily find me on Instagram. That is why you run into me on Instagram, because I'm standing in the room. I'm actually running into you. You just don't know it, right? So they'll say, I don't know how I found you. You just popped up in my feed. I popped up in their feed because I'm strategic in giving them the information that they want. And I've set up auto DM features inside of Stan Store so that they can schedule a call with me. And then it drops that link in their DMs, right? And so that's the first question on the phone call is, how did we end up on this phone call? Where did you find me? Instagram. Great. Then I'm going to keep investing in Instagram. The next question I ask is, what's the opportunity you see at eXp and Powerhouse in particular? I want to know what it is about eXp and Powerhouse that has them considering scheduling a call. Great. I'm going to talk about that opportunity and I'm going to be really transparent and say, yes, that's true, or no, that I don't think that's going to work, right? And then the next question I ask is, what are the questions you have for me about eXp and Powerhouse? What are your concerns? And then we're going to address all of those concerns. The last question I ask is, what's your timeline for making a switch? You have to remember that they scheduled a call with you. You didn't call them. They scheduled a call with me. So let's get down to business. Let's talk through what those options are. And then I have an email series follow-up where it sends them the link to apply to eXp. It gives them all of the follow-up information that they need. And I spend an hour a day either taking these phone calls. I have 2 days a week with 2 different hours where that is what I do every single Tuesday and every single Wednesday. I have an hour on each of those days where people can schedule a call with me. And I originally scheduled 30 minutes for phone calls. Now I'm more efficient and I can do them in 15 minutes. But if you're a beginner, I would allow yourself 30 minutes. Talking to people is actually a good way for you to understand what their pain points are, and it can help you tailor your content, tailor your services and your offerings to them to fulfill their needs. So I wouldn't skip that step. But if you think about it, if you schedule 30 minutes and you say, I have four 30-minute time blocks on my calendar every single week for agents to talk to me, that means that every week you're talking to 4 agents, and every month, theoretically, you're talking to 16 agents. So I would say you should be bringing over 3 agents every single month with those numbers. But there is a little bit, just like transactions it could take you 3 months to have your first closing. The same is true with agents. It could take you 3 months. So once you have that calendar link all set up, then the question becomes where do you share your link? How do you share that link more? And you can do it on Instagram, you can do it on TikTok, you can do it on YouTube, you can do it from the stage, you can do it at open houses talking to agents. You can partner with a title company and do lunch and learns where you teach agents your secret sauce and then say, hey, if you want to partner with me, blah, 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 here's the link to schedule a call. You can have a podcast. If you have an email list, you could email it out to your email list. The question then becomes is how do you share your link more? One thing before we wrap up, I want to touch on is amateurs want to do what they love. Professionals learn to love what it takes. So this is all just a math equation. Is how do you share your link enough times that it fills your calendar slots? You might go to lunch with agents every single week. Put a table together. You might host, one of the ways I did this was I hosted monthly coaching containers where I taught agents about social media. And once they learned about social media, then they were like, oh, this really solved a pain point in my business. Why didn't my broker teach me this? And suddenly I was more valuable to them than their broker. Then they're willing to talk about moving their license. So I always say, like, you want to solve their transaction problem first, and that builds the trust, and they want to work with you further. This is it in a nutshell. Again, the things you do daily multiply. So because I've done this every day for 5 years, it has a ton of momentum behind it. And when you first get started, it's going to feel uncomfortable. That's okay. That's normal. But the sooner you start, the sooner the momentum comes behind you. I hope this is helpful to you. I hope you know that you don't need to be closing 50 million in production or running a team that's doing 200 million in production in order to build out at a cloud-based brokerage. You need to be good at what you do, and you need to help others get to where you are faster and with less headaches. And when you build a system that allows you to do that, you will be shocked at the results. It is just small habits repeated consistently over time that always produce the biggest changes inside my business. I hope this helps. And if you want to partner with me at eXp Realty, go ahead, click the link below and schedule a call. I'm Amy Gregory. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to The Amy Gregory Show. If today's episode gave you that I needed this feeling, go ahead and hit subscribe so you never miss a pep talk when you need it most. And hey, if you're ready to scale your business without the burnout, I've got you. Head over to @AmyGregory on Instagram to connect, grab free resources, or join my community of powerhouse women who are redefining real estate success. Until next time, trust your gut, take up space, and remember, you're just one bold move away from your next breakthrough.